So the next part of my lecture will be on the congenital and inflammatory diseases of the pancreas. So first we have a short introduction on the pancreas. So the pancreas is divided into two parts, your exocrine pancreas and your endocrine pancreas. The diseases that I'll be mentioning here is mostly composed of the exocrine pancreas. Lesions of the endocrine pancreas will be discussed in a different module. So your exocrine pancreas is 80 to 85% of the organ, composed mostly of your acinar cells that would be secreting enzymes needed for digestion. Tapos listed in here will be the different enzymes involved. For your endocrine pancreas, it's mostly composed of your islet of Langerhans, and those cells will be the ones secreting insulin, glucagon, and somatostatin. So again, majority of the lesions I'll be describing in here, mostly exocrine pancreas ang involvement niya. For congenital anomalies, the congenital variations are usually secondary to an imperfect fusion of the dorsal and ventral pancreatic primordia. So remember that when on your embryology, nagpo-form yung pancreas natin from the two primordias, your dorsal and your ventral primordium. So yung dorsal primordium mo should, pag nag-grow siya, it would become the body, tail, and superior aspect of the head of the pancreas and the accessory duct of Santorini. Whereas your ventral primordium would become the posterior and inferior part of the head of the pancreas. So, the most common anomaly in the pancreas would have to be pancreas divisum. So, meron kang failure to fuse the fetal duct systems of your dorsal and ventral pancreatic primordia. Meaning, yung duct system mo, hindi siya nagiging nagko-converge. Medyo hiwalay siya. So, katulad nito, this is the normal duct anatomy. As you would see, you have the duct of Wirsung draining to both to the minor sphincter and the papilla of Vater. In pancreas divisum, ang nangyayari dito, the bulk of the pancreas drains into the duodenum through the small caliber minor papilla. So, itong lahat, wala kang duct na papunta dito, drain yan lahat dito. Tapos, so your bile duct will be, of course, draining via the papilla of Vater. Anong problem dito? Small caliber duct ito. So, nangyayari ngayon, naiipon lahat ang enzymes mo dito sa body and tail, and that could cause auto-activation of your pancreatic enzymes leading to pancreatitis. So, yun yung ayaw mong complication, pancreatitis in general. Other anomalies would include the annular pancreas, such as what you see over here. So basically, yung pancreas mo, pag nag-grow siya, it will become band-like and will constrict the second part of the duodenum, causing duodenal obstruction. Minsan on imaging na pagkakamalan siyang CA kasi parang meron kang core apple deformity on your duodenum, pero pagtingin mo sa loob, normal pancreatic tissue lang pala siya. Ectopic pancreas seen in around 2% of routine postmortem examination. So this usually appears as a nodule appearing in the stomach, duodenum, jejunum, mecal, diverticula, and ileum. And ang problem doon is that they may also secrete pancreatic enzymes causing inflammation sa vicinity ng nodule na yon ng ectopic pancreas mo. You may also have pancreatic agenesis, pero this is very, very, very rare. It just means meron kang failure to develop the pancreas, and there's usually a germline mutation involving PDX1. So, much like in your pancreas, ang pinaka-bulk ng discussion natin would be about pancreatitis. So, in gallbladder, majority of the lesions, cholecystitis. In your pancreas, it would be pancreatitis. So, it is divided into two forms, acute and chronic, and both are initiated by injuries leading to autodigestion of the pancreas. So, yun lang naman yun. Basta meron kang mechanism na magdadigest ng enzymes ng pancreas, ang mismong pancreas, it will all lead to pancreatitis. Normally, your pancreas have mechanisms to protect itself from autodigestion. So, majority of your digestive enzymes are being synthesized as inactive proenzymes in secretory granules, tapos they will be activated by trypsin, which is activated via duodenal enteropeptidase. So, ibig sabihin, dapat sa duodenum na-activate yung mga enzymes mo. Also, your acinar and ductal cells secrete trypsin inhibitors, including serine protease inhibitor Casal type 1 or SPINK1, that should limit the intrapancreatic trypsin activity. So in other words, dapat ang trypsin hindi ma-activate doon sa pancreas mo and it should be only activated pagdating niya sa duodenum. And what happens now is that your pancreatitis occurs when any of these protective mechanisms become deranged or overwhelmed. First would be your acute pancreatitis. It is a reversible pancreatic parenchymal injury associated with inflammation, and as you can see here sa table natin, it has a very diverse etiologies. It's relatively common in Western countries. It's around 10 to 20 cases for around 100,000 people. Here in the Philippines, it has been associated with the concept of bangungot. Pero right now, iba na yung, pero the definition of bangungot has quite changed. Dati lang yung, it's an old association though. So, if you encounter patients na gano'n, you still want to do your autopsies para malaman kung ano talaga ang cause of death ng patients mo. Biliary tract disease and alcoholism account for 80% of the cases of acute pancreatitis. Usually, mas madalas ito sa females kapag ang cause mo ay biliary tract disease. Pero kung secondary to alcoholism, it is majority would be males. Acute gallstones present in around 35 to 60% of acute pancreatitis. Madali lang naman isipin ng pathophysiology nun. Gallstones secreted by the gallbladder would be lodged into the pancreatic ducts, and that's causing your gallstone pancreatitis. Pathogenesis, so basically you should have, as I mentioned earlier, inappropriate activation of your pancreatic enzymes. So that would be leading to the destruction of your pancreatic tissue plus inflammatory reaction. So pwede ka magkaroon ng inappropriate intrapancreatic activation of trypsin. So pag ganon, ma-activate mo yung proenzymes na nasa loob pa siya ng pancreas. And that will be degrading your fat cells and your blood vessels. The trypsin may also activate factors in blood. So kasama nun would be the coagulation, complement kallikrein, and your fibrinolytic pathways. Your inflammation and small vessel thrombosis would cause even further damage to your acinar cells. What are the initiating events? So, pwede kang obstruction. As I mentioned earlier, kasama dyan would be gallstones. Pwede rin naman biliary sludge, neoplasms, choledococcysts, parasites in pancreas divisum. That would be, the obstruction would cause the increase in the interpancreatic ductal pressure, and that would cause the accumulation of your enzyme-rich fluid within the interstitium. The lipase is secreted as an active form, causing local fat necrosis, and that would cause inflammation of your pancreas. Pwede rin naman via primary acinar cell injury. So, that would lead to the release of your digestive enzymes, inflammation, and autodigestion of your pancreatic tissues. The oxidative stress may generate free radicals in your acinar cells, and eventually causing the expression of your chemokines to attract your mononuclear cells. And there's an increase in calcium flux, and then that's causing autoinhibition, abrogation of your autoinhibition, and then that would cause inappropriate activation of your trypsin. And last would be the defective intracellular transport of proenzymes within acinar cells, pero so far it has only been demonstrated within mouse models. So basically, yung lumalabas dito, your proenzymes become activated. So there's a nice diagram in Robbins depicting all of these three mechanisms. Ang importante, all of them will be causing acinar cell injury, causing activation of your enzymes, and that would be leading to interstitial inflammation, edema, proteolysis, fat necrosis, damage to the vessel walls, and hemorrhage, all leading to pancreatitis. Now, what do you see in common dito sa tatlong to? That would be alcoholism. Okay? So, alcoholism hits 3, pero mas elucidated ang mechanism through these two factors, yung duct obstruction natin and acinar cell injury. So, in alcohol-induced pancreatitis, ang pwedeng mangyari is, if your patients are chronically alcoholic, there will be secretion of protein-rich pancreatic fluid, which be causing protein plugs in your small pancreatic ducts, leading to obstruction. Pwede rin ka naman na magkaroon ng alcohol-induced oxidative stress generating free radicals in your acinar cells, causing lipid oxidation and activation of pro-inflammatory transcription factors. Oxidative stress will promote fusion of your lysosomes and zymogen granules, causing the increase of your intracellular calcium levels, and that's causing intracellular activation of trypsin, plus their other substances. Other triggers would include the following: pwedeng metabolic disorder, genetic lesions, medications, traumatic injury for acinar cells, usually secondary to surgery, ischemic acinar cell injury due to shock or hypotension in general, or meron kang blockage in your blood vessels, and pwede ring infections such as mumps because that can cause direct cell injury. With regards to genetic lesions, there are a lot of inheritable predisposition to pancreatitis, CFTR, PRSS1, SPINK1. Ito yung pinaka-common ng tatlong to, actually. So, that's why there's a small component of your pancreatitis na ang tawag is hereditary pancreatitis. You see this as recurrent attacks of severe acute pancreatitis in childhood, and pagdating nila in adult age, that could manifest already as chronic pancreatitis. The common genetic feature of these three would have to be the defects that would increase or sustain the activity of trypsin. So basically, yung enzymes mo ang yung napapagana in advance, causing the all the yung mga morphological changes na nasabi ko kanina, na mention ko kanina in your pancreatitis. There are 3 genes of special note, which that will be your PRSS1, which makes trypsin resistant to self-inactivation, autosomal dominant mode of inheritance, loss of function mutation in SPINK1, so that gene encodes trypsin inhibitor. So pag meron kang mutation, wala kang trypsin inhibitors. And CFTR gene mutations, also known as cystic fibrosis. That's why in the discussion in cystic fibrosis, ang isa sa mga complications na dinidiscuss, it would be your pancreatitis. Basically, you end up with protein plugging because of the secretions ng cystic fibrosis, and that will be causing duct obstruction. For these patients, they have a 40% lifetime risk for developing pancreatic CA. Basic alterations in your acute pancreatitis would include microvascular leaks and edema, fat necrosis, acute inflammation. Actually, ang baseline itong tatlo. Okay? Tapos madadagdagan ka na lang ng either or ng pancreatic parenchymal destruction and destruction of your blood vessels, interstitial hemorrhage. Kung mild lang ang pancreatitis, pwedeng mild lang ang makita mo nito. Pwede ka baka walang makitang ganito if you able to catch it on time. Pero usually, when the patients present in the ER, itong lahat na yan. At least itong 4 na to. Okay. And ito, when you see already this one in hemorrhagic pancreatitis. So, the mild form would be acute interstitial pancreatitis. You should only be able to see mild inflammation, interstitial edema, and focal areas of fat necrosis within the pancreas. Pag pinapabayaan even further, that will be causing necrotizing pancreatitis. So, from the name itself, you should be able to see necrosis of your acinars, ductal cells, and your islet cells. The most severe form would have to be your hemorrhagic pancreatitis. Ito na, pag meron ng itong manifestation ng patient nito, pwede niya itong ikamatay. Okay? Grossly, your pancreatic substance is red-black with foci of hemorrhages and foci of fat necrosis. The fat necrosis may also be seen in your adjacent omental tissues, bowel mesentery, and even outside the abdominal cavity. The peritoneal cavity would also contain serous, slightly turbid, and brown-tinged fluid containing fat globules. How would they look like? So, itong nasa taas, focal areas of hemorrhages, ito lang siya. Okay? And itong areas na to. Then, itong area na to, this would be focal area of fat necrosis over here, at saka dito. This one though, ito yung hemorrhagic pancreatitis already. So, as you would see, puro na siya dugo. The image you see over here, this is actually acute pancreatitis. Hindi pa naman na hemorrhagic. You should see ito yung areas of fat necrosis mo, and these are your inflammatory cells scattered around. Okay? And when you see it or closely under the microscope, you should be able to see mostly neutrophils. Cardiac manifestation would have to be epigastric pain na described to be constant, intense, and would radiate to the upper back and occasionally to the left shoulder. So usually, ang description ng patients sa Tagalog, parang silang sinasaksak. So yung the pain kasi from the front going to the back. And the severity can range from mild to incapacitating pain. Other symptoms may include anorexia, vomiting, and nausea. Severe acute pancreatitis is a medical emergency. Please take note of that. Not a surgical emergency, sorry. This is attributed to the release of toxic enzymes, to cytokines, and other mediators into the circulatory system, leading to leukocytosis, DIC, and your ARDS, end stage lung disease. This may all lead to shock and acute renal tubular necrosis. Serologic-wise, ang pinaka-important na makuha nyo would have to be amylase and lipase. Lipase is the most specific and sensitive marker. So, lipase talaga of yung top priority na makuha nyo sa patient nyo. That may remain elevated for around 8 to 14 days. Kung walang lipase, you may use amylase pero short half-life lang siya and may return to normal within 3 to 5 days. Other findings would include glycosuria and hypocalcemia. CT scan, you can use that, pero in an emergency setting that is not advisable. On CT scan, you may be able to see enlarged inflamed pancreas. Management would have to be resting the pancreas. So you do not give food or nothing per orem ang order. So meaning you don't give anything na food. You just give your IV fluids and analgesia, magre-recover ang patient nyo. Pero there's a very small subset, mga around 5%, that will still have severe pancreatitis and your patient will die. Once pag nag-recover sa acute pancreatitis, it may cause your pancreatic abscesses or pancreatic pseudocysts, which we will be discussing later. Chronic pancreatitis, same lang din sa sa discussion natin on the gallbladder. Usually after repeated bouts of your acute pancreatitis, pero this time you have irreversible destruction na of your exocrine parenchyma and fibrosis. So, ang important dito na term would have to be irreversible destruction na siya. Ibig sabihin, that's it. Hindi na siya magre-recover back to your normal pancreas. Very small ang prevalence ito, 0.04 to 5%. This is commonly caused by long-term alcohol abuse, but you may also see this in cases of obstruction, autoimmune injuries, and, as I mentioned earlier, hereditary pancreatitis. So, as I mentioned earlier, this follows after repeated episodes of your acute pancreatitis. So, after your episodes of acute pancreatitis, nag-recover ka, naturally, you would have fibrosis, duct distortions, and altered pancreatic secretions, causing the loss of your normal pancreatic parenchyma and fibrosis. So, tumitigas lang yung pancreas mo. Wala ka ng cells in the end. And in chronic pancreatic injury, if you have a chronic pancreatic injury, there may cause a local production of your inflammatory mediators that should promote fibrosis and acinar cell loss. So, ganun pa rin. Same lang din siya with your acute pancreatitis. Na you end up with having tumitigas ang pancreas mo plus you don't have anymore your acinar cells to produce your enzymes. A subset of your chronic pancreatitis would be your autoimmune pancreatitis. This is a pathologically distinct form. It has two types, type 1 and type 2 lang. Your type 1 is associated with the presence of IgG4 secreting plasma cells, and it's a manifestation of your systemic IgG-related disease. So usually you see that in a background of systemic IgG-related disease, you should be able to see other organs na nagiging fibrotic and may also contain your IgG4 secreting plasma cells. For type 2 disease, the disease is restricted to the pancreas except kung yung pasyente mo ay merong ulcerative colitis. They may also have autoimmune pancreatitis type 2. Both can mimic pancreatic carcinomas kasi morphologically speaking, tumitigas ang pancreas mo. So, your imaging doesn't help. And when you see when you do your biopsies, ang tigas ng pancreas, akala mo talaga nag-transform siya to carcinoma. Pero pag kuha mo ng biopsy sample, fibrosis ang makikita mo. Okay? So, bakit important na ma-note natin yung existence ng condition na to? It's because this responds very well to steroid therapy. Di katulad ng chronic pancreatitis natin kanina na irreversible na. And kapag cancer, usually you will have to deal with either a resection or you do your chemoradio. So, in autoimmune pancreatitis, you can reverse it by giving steroids to your patients. So, how would chronic pancreatitis look like? As I said, fibrosis ang hallmark niya. So, you will see parenchymal fibrosis, acinar atrophy, and dropout, plus variable ductal dilation. Your pancreas will be hard, invisible ducts may contain calcified concretions. You may see chronic inflammatory infiltrates around lobules and ducts, so that should be your plasma cells and your inflammatory lymphocytes. The ductal epithelium may be atrophic, hyperplastic, or metaplastic. Plus, you have acinar loss with relative sparing of your islet of Langerhans. If this is alcohol-induced chronic pancreatitis, you may be able to see ductal dilatation, tapos may laman ka na protein plugs and calcifications. For autoimmune pancreatitis type 1, you should be able to see swirling or storiform fibrosis, phlebitis, and dense inflammation with your IgG4 in secreting plasma cells. For autoimmune pancreatitis type 2, you should be able to see neutrophilic infiltrates within the epithelium and lumen of or medium-sized pancreatic ducts. Tapos kung meron namang IgG4 secreting plasma cells pero not as much compared to your type 1. Grossly, this is how chronic pancreatitis would look like. These are your dilated ducts, fibrotic na yung background na to, plus you see a lot of concretions over here. Okay? And when you see the microsections of that, as you would see, atrophied yung ductal cells mo, you have a lot of fibrosis surrounding that. Your islet cells may become spared. When you see it under the microscope, you may be able to see this one. So, ito kasi may plug yung duct mo ng protein. So, this is likely secondary to alcohol-induced chronic pancreatitis. This one is an example of your autoimmune pancreatitis with a storiform fibrotic stroma. And when you see it even closer and nag-test ka ng immunostains, you should be able to see IgG4 secreting plasma cells over here. So this one is an example of your autoimmune pancreatitis. So you may see fibrosis, dense fibrosis over here, plus dilation of your pancreatic ducts lang. Tapos ito, storiform fibrosis, and when you see it even closer over here, you should be able to see IgG4 secreting plasma cells. At medyo abundant. Kung hindi mo kalat yung inflammatory cells mo. Compare that to your type 2 autoimmune pancreatitis. So, meron kang, you have a pancreatic duct over here surrounded by lymphoplasmacytic infiltrates. Meron pa rin namang IgG4 secreting na plasma cells, pero mas konti siya relative to your type 1 na autoimmune pancreatitis. Clinical features would include na, again, this would follow repeated bouts of acute pancreatitis, and usually these attacks are of mild to moderate abdominal pain or persistent abdominal and back pain. This may be precipitated by alcohol ingestion, overeating, use of opiate and drugs that can increase the tone of the sphincter of Oddi, and the disease may be silent until there is pancreatic insufficiency, and your patients would also manifest with diabetes. Diagnosis is quite difficult actually kasi serologically, pwede ka na magkaroon ng mild elevations in your serum amylase. Patient will only manifest with mild fever plus minus abdominal pain. Kapag long-standing na yung disease, you may be able to see no acinar cells at all. So kapag ganun, paano mo masasabing chronic pancreatitis na siya? Or versus your other diseases, pwede ka naman magkaroon ng mesenchymal tumors, or it could be an autoimmune pancreatitis. If you see gallstone-induced obstruction, your patients may have jaundice with elevation of your alkaline phosphatase. Long-term outlook is poor with a mortality rate of 50% in 20 to 25 years. Your patient would manifest with severe chronic pain and pancreatic pseudocysts. And as I mentioned earlier, meron kang 40% lifetime of risk of chronic pancreatitis for CA in patients na merong hereditary pancreatitis. And after that, I'll be discussing the cystic lesions of your pancreas.